What was behind the heavy rainfall that flooded Dubai? Also, in an election drill, what all should you know? And finally, China's economy grew faster than expected. Why it matters to us? Hello everyone, I am Srivastava and I am here with the 3 must reads from the Indian Express today. आज की तारीख है अप्रैल 18th of April और मेरी जो ये 3 favorite articles हैं जो I think you must read from the Indian Express come directly from the explained page of the Indian Express. But before going to my first pick, I would again remind you of the UPSC key of the Indian Express जो कि आपको मदद करता है कि आप उस दिन का अखबार, उस दिन का जो न्यूज़पेपर है उसको कैसे पढ़ें. Okay, so what to read in the newspaper? It just not gives you the points from the articles. It also tells you that what are the things which you should look for in that article. Sometimes go beyond the headlines, link it to past questions, link it to some new questions, and prepare that topic in a very 360-degree manner. तो इसलिए यूपीएससी की बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है और इसी तरह इंपॉर्टेंट है जानना कि ये 3 इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज है. हाउ टू रीड दीज 3 इंपॉर्टेंट पिक्स व्हिच आई हैव फॉर यू. सो द फर्स्ट pick comes from the explained section and it comes from the explained climate section, which is written by Alind Chauhan. Headline is what was behind the heavy rainfall that flooded Dubai. कल के न्यूज़पेपर में, कल के न्यूज़ में आपने कई बार देखा होगा that there was news about the floods in Dubai. Okay, now it is unusual. Why it is unusual? You should know it and we will talk about it. But what caused this flood? That is very important. Okay, now इस आर्टिकल को पढ़ने से पहले और इस तरह के आर्टिकल्स को पढ़ने से पहले what is important? To have a atlas in your hand. Okay, and obviously some pen and paper to note down some points which are very relevant. So you should have an atlas. First of all, look at the location of Dubai. Where is Dubai located? And you just not look at Dubai and the country UAE, but also the nearby areas. Okay, nearby countries, which are the bordering countries, and so forth. Now, in this particular article, there's an important term called cloud seeding. This has come in various examinations. They've asked the definition of cloud seeding. What is the purpose of it? यहाँ पे 3-4 लाइन में उसको डिफाइन किया गया है. Okay, and since the article revolves around it, so you get to know that why cloud seeding is done. ठीक है, so you get to know in a gist a lot about cloud seeding. Now let's come to the introductory paragraph. Okay, and we will get to know things. So the UAE recorded the heaviest rain ever after a severe thunderstorm hit the country on Monday night, killing at least 1 person and causing damage to homes and businesses. Okay, this is according to the article which is published. And when you see the 3rd paragraph, it tells you why it is unusual. All right. Heavy rain is unusual in the UAE, which is an arid Arabian Peninsula country. However, it occasionally rains in the region during the cooler winter months. Okay, so please open the atlas, look at the region, look at the Arabian Peninsula, keep that map, stuck in your mind. Also, the thing which is written, why does it rain? It rains in the cooler winter months. Why do we have rains in cooler winter months there? That's a geography question for you to answer. Let me tell you, the answer is very easy, but I want you to comment in the box below. Now, this heavy rainfall has disrupted air travels as flights were either diverted or delayed, and that is one of the major news which was caused because of this flooding, apart from the other things, the internal problems which Dubai had. But at the same time, now the question is, अब जो सवाल उठता है वो ये है कि what led to the heavy rainfall? Now, the primary reason for the heavy rainfall was passing through it was passing through the Arabian Peninsula and moving across the Gulf of Oman. तो ये जो रेन है और ये जो स्टॉर्म सिस्टम है जिसकी वजह से ये रेनफॉल इतनी हैवी हुई, उसमें अरेबियन पेनिनसुला से इट वाज पासिंग एंड मूविंग अक्रॉस द गल्फ ऑफ ओमान. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड ओपन द एटलस, कीप लुकिंग एट दीज प्लेसेस. तो इस वजह से तो ये इतनी रेनफॉल हुई. बट द मेजर रीजन क्या था, विच इज रिपोर्टेड बाय एसोसिएटेड प्रेस. It says that the rain caused have been exacerbated by cloud seeding, and that is the word I want you to pay attention to, which is a process of spraying salt mixtures in cloud that would result in condensation of cloud and eventually cause rainfall. Please underline this. What is the process of cloud seeding? And the UAE's National Center of Meteorology had flown 6 or 7 cloud seeding flights from the rain, before the rain. Okay, so cloud seeding is one thing which you should pay attention to. And then the next thing, it has been suggested that climate change is also one of the reasons. It could be one of the reasons, experts have said. And these lines are important. The UAE's average surface temperature has increased by 0.4 degrees Celsius between 2003 and 2022. तो इन लगभग 20 सालों में ये डिफरेंस हुआ है. हाई टेम्परेचर, अब हाई टेम्परेचर से होता क्या है? हाई टेम्परेचर causes evaporation of water not only from land but also oceans and other water bodies, meaning a warmer atmosphere holds more moisture, isn't it? Now, for every 1 degree Celsius rise in the average temperature, the atmosphere can hold about 7% more moisture. This leads to an increase in precipitation intensity, which ultimately can cause several or severe flooding. However, it is extremely difficult, look at the last paragraph, to attribute any particular extreme weather event to climate change, because there are multiple factors like patterns of natural climate variability such as El Nino, which contribute to such events. So look at the importance of the climate change which has been mentioned in this particular article. It just not tells you that climate change bhi reason ho sakta hai. It's telling that how high rise in the temperature can cause things. Okay, evaporation of water from different water bodies, and then later the process has been discussed. But that cannot be only alone reason. There are other factors which can contribute to events. So बहुत ही important है इसको, और भी जैसे climate से related और भी जो events होंगे आपको जोड़ के देखना पड़ेगा. But as I said, it's an opportunity to open an atlas and look about the nearby regions of this UAE. Now let's come to the second read today. Second read is just next to it. This is the last 72-hour election drill. Okay, this is written by two officers, Ravi Mittal and Rajat Bansal. Dr. Ravi Mittal is district collector in Chhattisgarh, and Rajat Bansal is commissioner, commercial tax GST department, Chhattisgarh. Now इलेक्शन टाइम है, बहुत सारे ऐसे न्यूज आएंगे जो इलेक्शन रिलेटेड है, बट ये कमाल का एक एक्सप्लेनर है विच इज टेलिंग यू अबाउट इलेक्शन ड्रिल. अ लॉट ऑफ यू व्हेन will get selected will get an opportunity to work in with the system, either within the system, and conduct some election drill and finally become somewhere a part of conducting that electoral process. Now here you need to read the whole article for your own benefit, but at the same time remember that everything is not important आपके एग्जाम के लिए. अब ये एक वो आर्टिकल है जहां पे आपको थोड़े और सर्च करनी पड़ेगी चीजें. मैं आपको बताता हूं क्यों. सबसे पहले तो it talks about the 3 phases. One is the 72 hours before the poll. This is the last day of campaigning period. After the last day of campaigning period, this is the critical time. Then there is the non-campaign period, which is last 48 hours, and the poll day. So just let's read the first paragraph. Votes in the first phase of the Lok Sabha election will be cast on April 19. The most critical time in the election process includes the last day of the campaign period, which is 70 2 hours before the poll. That is what I was saying. The non-campaign period, the last 48 hours, and the poll day. So candidates are afforded the opportunity to make a final impression on the electorate, while the period of election silence allows voters to take a reflective pause. So it is telling you also that why, there is a pause in campaigning and everything. That campaigning is stopped before the final day of election, and what the person who's going to cast the vote, why is it that it is relevant for him or her. Now, यहाँ पे आपको पढ़ने की आवश्यकता ये है that there are certain things, like for example, model code of conduct. Model code of conduct कब लगता है? What is the importance of model code of conduct? So there is this line which talks about model code of conduct. And then you will also know about Representation of People Act 1951. Again, very important when it comes to know about election and polling. Now, then there is also conduct of election rules, presiding officer. All these things as terms are there which you should know more. So आपको अपनी polity book पे जाना है and know about these things. I also want to take up this article because I want to tell what not to study. Okay, so you should not, too much take pains of understanding कि electoral election drill होती कैसे है. That is not very important. It's also not very important to know some very specific sections of RPA. Okay, कुछ बहुत important sections हैं तो वो ठीक है, but not very specific sections. So my important read to tell that this is an important read is because it talks about some important, say, RPA हुआ या model code of conduct हुआ, and also inspires you that once you become an officer, there are a lot of things to do. But do not go into too much of detailing. That is not required. Otherwise, it's a must read for you. Now, the third important read is again in the explained page. It's why China economy grew faster than expected. What lies ahead? It is written by Anil Sasi, and it says that China has reported a stronger than projected economic growth of 5.3% in the January-March quarter of 2024. And despite challenges ranging from a lingering property market downturn to continued sluggishness in domestic demand. Now look, why I'm talking about China's economy here. You're not going to give any examination where so much deep question on China will come. That is for sure. But China की जो economic growth है उससे बहुत कुछ impact होगा, especially when you talk about India or other parts of the world. Now, there are few things which are mentioned here which you should pay attention to. That the trade friction with the US is one of the issues in China. Then slowdown of some economies, for example, Germany in the Western Europe is also one of the factors. Plus, there are some internal problems in China. For example, the property market, the troubled property market. Now, despite of all these things, China's economy is growing and there is an uptick. Or is growth figure ka, of this world's second largest economy, as it is mentioned, would have an impact on the global growth. Now, there is also one paragraph which says that additionally, according to the World Bank, the Chinese economy is vulnerable to softer global demand and increased geoeconomic tensions. Climate change and the rising frequency of extreme weather events also pose a downside risk. So there are risks, there are challenges, okay, but China's economy, as reported, is growing faster. Now, चाइना के बारे में भी आपको डीप में उसके इंटरनल प्रॉब्लम्स वगैरह के बारे में इतना नहीं जानना है, बट यू हैव टू डू व्हाट देन यू हैव टू सी इन दिस विद रिलेशन टू इंडिया की ग्रोथ क्या हो रही है, कैसे हो रही है, हाउ दिस विल इम्पैक्ट इंडिया, व्हाई दिस विल इम्पैक्ट इंडिया, एंड देन ऑल्सो सी इट फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ वर्ल्ड. So this article is important to read because in future or maybe in this newspaper only you would get something about Indian economy and world economic growth. तो वहां पे ये सारी चीजें important हो जाती है because you should have an idea what's happening in India and China also. Okay, तो articles को पढ़ने का ये तरीका होना चाहिए कि आपको एक important word दिमाग में आना चाहिए, so what. So what? ओके, ये अगर आपके दिमाग में आ जाए तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कि व्हाट इज द रेलेवेंस ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल. That's all from me. If you want to write to me, please write at manas.srivastava@indianexpress.com. And think smart, work hard, conquer your goal. Bye-bye.